Welcome to the Never Ending Backlog podcast, your place for short reviews from a gamer with the goal of reducing his backlog. From adventures to sandboxes, join our host as we walk through a collection of unplayed treasures. Now, let's take a look at the featured game of this episode of the Never Ending Backlog.
Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode of Never Ending Backlog. This is actually going to be a pretty short episode, primarily because for the first time in history of this podcast, I have beaten a game within my first hour of playtime. And today's game that I've beaten is the freeware freebie that Sega passed out on their 60th anniversary on Steam called Streets of Kamurocho, a hybrid between Streets of Rage 2 and the Yakuza series. So what is it? I had to Google this since the store page that Steam put up had already been removed, even though that was last week. However, the death of the Tojo Clan's third chairman has plunged the organization into chaos. The violence spreads to the streets, and only Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima can put an end to the bloodshed. I apologize if I butchered any of those names. You see, I have never played the Yakuza games. I will give up my Sega card now. Sorry. What is it? It's a side-scrolling, beat-them-up action game. It's just like Streets of Rage 2. Who made it? Empty Clip Studios, the developers behind Ghostbusters VR, Dead Island Retro, Attack of the Bugs, and many others. So how much is it? Well, unfortunately, it's not available anymore. This was given out as a promotion for Sega's 60th anniversary on Steam. It's unfortunately no longer available, same as Sonic's 2 free port. In fact, even the store page doesn't show up if you select it from within the game section on Steam anymore. According to Is There Any Deal, the best price for this game? Free! Because that's what I got it for. Install startup, installed super quick. It's a tiny game. And then again, it's a freeware freebie that Sega released. Graphics, you're going to see this trend a lot. If you like classic Streets of Rage 2 graphics, then you will enjoy this game. It started at 5760 by 1080, but centered the game into the center screen, and it was windowed, even though it said full screen. However, I didn't mess with it that much. For audio, if you like classic Streets of Rage 2 audio, you'll enjoy this game. The sound effects are clearly from Streets of Rage 2. The song soundtrack loops throughout the level. It's basically your rip-off Streets of Rage game. Think of like a bootleg Streets of Rage game with Yakuza characters. That's exactly what this game is. Controls? I was actually pleasantly surprised by the controls. Since this was a freeware in honor of Sega's 60th anniversary, I wasn't really expecting much in regards to controllers, etc. With that though, I will say the Steam controller has a terrific community, and when you play a game that has some controller support, it finds the highest rated control scheme for that game, whether that is the developer submitted or community uploaded. So it does a great job with mapping the actual buttons for a wide variety of games. But anyways, it detected my Steam controller immediately and actually changed all of the on-screen buttons to show the Steam controller buttons, including the start triangle button on the Steam controller to get started. So it actually mapped the buttons that I wanted to, which you'll notice from other reviews that I've done for the Sega games, they don't always do that. And for a freebie, what the heck, Sega? What the heck? Difficulty, it seemed far easier than Streets of Rage 2 series. That is until I got to the first boss, and he kept regenerating health every time I defeated him, and would glitch across the screen to laugh at me. What a jerk. He destroyed me multiple times, and after researching the game though, after you beat him, he just increases in difficulty, and I'll explain to you why. Gameplay, you can play as 2 characters, and there's a third unlockable character. They're all from the Yakuza series. Achievements, there are 0 achievements for this game, but I got the unlockable character, so there's that. If you are looking for a Streets of Rage 2 fix and aren't interested in trying the new Streets of Rage 4 that was recently released, and you happen to add it to your library during Sega's 60th anniversary, then this game will probably do it for you. Kind of. If you like Yakuza and are looking for a new game in the series, then I guess this would kind of do it for you. Probably not. It's officially the shortest game I've ever played and beaten on the Never Ending Backlog. I couldn't even get an hour into the game and I beat it, so go me. Now for the cons. There are certainly quite a few bugs. I mentioned earlier with the full screen, widescreen, windowed mode. There was a man that was attacking me with a scimitar, and when I defeated him and he dropped it, it turned into a traffic cone, which I could attack people with. I feel like this is probably a joke that is found in the Yakuza series, so I feel like that there's no way that's a bug because it happened every single time. There's just no way that is a bug. That had to be purposely placed there, and I'm just not, in the know because I don't play the Yakuza games. The buttons are somewhat of a pain, similar to the Streets of Rage series. Picking up an item and attacking is the same button on the controller, so many times you will be standing over an object, and you already have an object in your hand, and you're attempting to stab or hit a bad guy, and instead of attacking, you're picking up the item over and over again. And the last con, and this is to explain the boss fight. It's a single level game, everybody. You get to the boss, Lao Ka Long, and every time you beat him, he just gets stronger. There is no more to the game. You beat him, it gets harder difficulty. When you restart it, it just gets harder and you just keep doing it, and you unlock your character. So that's why I'm saying you beat the game. It's one level. It's not a long game. That's why it's the shortest win I've ever done. But I'm going to take it. If there's only an achievement, Sega, you only gave me an achievement for beating this game in less than 10 minutes. I would love it. But anyway, this is also the shortest review I've ever done for the Never Ending Backlog podcast. But thank you for joining us today. Be sure to support Sega on their 60th anniversary. And have a great day.